gender, boys schools, girls schools, female teachers, male teachers, you know, female education staff, male education staff. That is all. Have boundary walls in girls schools, have latrines in girls schools. To that extent they are quotes gender sensitive, but they are not sensitive to the barriers and the bottlenecks and the constraints, socio-cultural and legal constraints which lie behind it. I mean, the age of marriage, for example, it is not being enforced. We still have cases in interior Sindh, southern Punjab, girls being married at the age of 12 and 13, which means that they will drop out of primary school, not even complete primary education.
Are opportunities for young women in Pakistan changing now?
I think for those who have a chance to get an education, yes, there are many more avenues that are open. The education sector has always been there, health sector has always been there. It is more, I think, more women in education and health. But there are other sectors now, like the service sector, for example, in shops, but still in the urban areas and in the big cities. Not even in the small cities. No, not like Nepal or India or Bangladesh, where you will find women sitting in shops, even in villages. In some villages, yes, very poor and amongst the elite and upper middle class and in big cities. Yes, you will find that women are working. The poor work because they have to work. I don't think they have any opportunities, they have no choice, but they work in the fields. When they work in the fields, parda does not come in the way, segregation does not come in the way. When they rear livestock, segregation does not come in the way, but it comes in the way when it comes to education, when it comes to holding jobs. So these are the issues that we need to look at. But there are many more opportunities, as I said, in the service sector. You have girls working in beauty parlors, you have all these telecom, a lot of the telecom in the hotel industry, in all of these, you find that many more women are working. The private sector is hiring a lot of women. In private education, you will find that mostly there are female teachers. You have NGOs like the Citizens Foundation, which is hiring only female teachers. Our school program, we've had up to 200 to 300 female teachers. So these are girls from the community getting an opportunity. NGOs have provided a lot of opportunities to women as their service, providing services in rural areas, working with women, whether it is in microcredit, in health, in education. So I think the NGO sector has also created opportunities for women's employment, and particularly at the district and the community level.
What aspects of Pakistani's law do you believe related to gender needs to modify or to be further understood?
Well, I think starting, for example, with the law of evidence, there were a lot of negative laws that were passed during Ziaul Haq's regime. There was the law of blasphemy, there was the law of evidence, there was the zina ordinance. All these laws have reduced the status of women. So on the legal level, at the legal level, a lot of things need to be done. Recently, a sexual harassment law has been passed, which we certainly support. Sexual protection law, that is required. In terms of customs, I think child marriage, polygamy, multiple marriages by men, karokari, none of these are sanctioned by religion. Honor killings, they all need to be repealed. Exchange marriage, which leads to a lot of problems, vata satta. Every province has its own problems and traditions and customs, and they need to be looked at.
Yeah, there are barriers.
They are barriers.
In front of education.
Exactly.
Okay. Would you share any of your projects that has been successful in bringing girls into schools and reduced dropout?
Well, one of our programs, as I said, has been our own community-based schools program, where in our own schools we had a very low dropout of 10% compared to the government dropout of 15%. That 15 girls. That 15 to 10% we could not do anything about. It was related to critical health issues, because we were working in poor communities due to migration, due to degradation of the environment, so that we could not help. That was a successful program in bringing girls into school. I think our advocacy on girls' education, both with the district governments, with provincial governments at the national level, has been very strong on gender. We have been part of all policy, gender policy dialogues. We have also made a documentary on our girls' school program, which we are hoping that we can disseminate on the public network, some television network. It is on our website. We have conducted research which we keep sharing with the government. I think training of women teachers is an area that has helped, because we have trained a large number of female teachers, so I'm helping to upgrade their skills. Our own teachers began by being matriculate, then they upgraded their skills through the Allama Iqbal Open University degree programs, and that has helped, I think, in improving the quality of education. So our focus has been gender plus quality.
What do you think is the role of media towards sensitizing people towards gender and girls' education issues?
I think it has a very, very important role, and that role at the moment has been submerged because of our political debates, and not enough attention, I think, is being paid to it. It also, there was in the last government, I think I was on television a number of times discussing gender issues on television. Very little of that is happening currently, because I think the country at the moment is overcome by terrorism, militancy, floods, economic constraints, that gender seems to have in that sense taken a back seat. But I think we are talking to TV channels, we are hoping to develop some programs with television. We have a campaign for quality education is one of our major programs for the last since 2006, and under that our focus is parliamentarians, the government, the media, the newspapers, where we hope that we can raise these issues more strongly.
Do you think there is really changing in education through media?
Well, there is, for example, at the moment, Children's Peace Television, a program which is being developed. There used to be an educational network. Don't forget, the virtual university runs through the media. The Allama Iqbal Open University used to, it has stopped its programs unfortunately, but I think we need a strong education channel on which different various efforts that are being made by organizations and institutions could be projected, so that people could see that there are alternatives available and what they can do. No, media has a very strong role. I mean, whether you're talking of the print media and whether you are talking of the visual media, I think the visual media is much more important, because we find that gender issues when raised, for example, in television, through plays, through drama, plays and drama have a very strong impact. Discussions, I feel, less so. But when you show something happening, when there are actual situations being dramatized, they are very, very effective.
What are some of the recommendations that you would like to share with the development community as a whole that may help to improve their work in gender equality?
I think for gender equality, we have to focus on changing attitudes and behavior of the male community, because that determines how the women also think within the household. Very often people say कि सास का भी ये attitude है, या माँ ये गलत चीज़ें करती है, but she is doing it primarily because that is what is expected of her by the men in the community, in the family and in the society. That is one thing that needs to be done. The other is very targeted interventions for girls' education. Stipends, scholarships, mobility, and more schools after the primary level. We have to move now beyond the primary level so that more children can transit to the next stage and then move on to higher education.
Okay, thank you so much. We have a very short time, but at last, what viewers and our readers?
I don't know. I think without education we have no hope. Let me say this. And I think every child in this country, every girl, every boy deserves to have a chance at getting a good education.
Thank you so much for your time. Nice meeting you.
Thank you.